Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the From the Desk of the Deans podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
Wide open.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Doing all right.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm happy to be here too. This is our first episode, inaugural episode, and the title of this episode is "For Such a Time as This." But let's first kind of talk about what the podcast is a little bit. Where how did this conversation or how did this podcast kind of come about?
Well, I know we talked for a while about helping me help me help you,
Yeah, help me
help
help
me
you.
help you, and I think we'll actually title a podcast after that in the future. But it's about really based upon what we do and trying to help students and young professionals to maximize their existence. Really, just wanting to get together and share nuggets, share some conversation, that sometimes bring in some of our former interns, some of our past interns, and even some current interns to kind of share what they've learned and what they've grown, also that we can just help people through this time. So for such a time as this, for me, is real timely right now because if you know what's going on around the country right now, everybody's is kind of jittery. And so just trying to bring about a calm and trying to give some guidance and some nuggets just to kind of help people through these times.
Yeah, I agree. I see it as an opportunity. I'm big on trying to shine the light and show the way. And there's a lot of challenges going on in the world, and I think we're positioned to help anybody, but especially the students that we come across that are placed in our sphere of influence. That we've been through the ropes in less critical times. And
Yeah,
now times are getting tough.
right.
So more than ever, people need help. And I think we're positioned to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Before we kind of get into the discussion that we have for today, first, just want to run through introductions. I'll go ahead and go first. My name is Trey Brown. I'm acting as PCU's Dean of Admissions. But really, my background is in admission. I was an admissions counselor at an HBCU for about 2 years, leading up into the role that I'm in now. And I got to see a lot of things, especially after me myself graduating from college, graduating from HBCU. Um, and I then got to see kind of what that other side looked like. So it's always important to me to kind of show, okay, what didn't I understand when I was going through it? Now let me show the opposite side of that looking glass to kind of see really what the process looks like. And so that's what I'm all about. But next we'll go over to my guy over here, Mr. Dave West.
Yes, Dave West. I am the Dean of Students at Pre-College University. My role at pre-college is to be a liaison, if you will, between the students that we come across and the placements that they have with Department of Energy Labs, as well as a bridge to job opportunities, and to help them succeed with their career. Some get starting positions as a result of our interaction with them. So, and my background comes from corporate America. I had 24 years in corporate America. And so, with the experiences that I have and the tough roads that I've gone through and the game that you got to learn how to play, I'm able to use that as far as a workforce development platform to share with the students, to just share. Hey, this is what it looks like. This is what this game is about, and kind of be a coach as well as a cheerleader and just to help them along the way. So there's many other roles that we all play, but that's the core of what my position is to be that to be that support for them.
Awesome. And last but not least,
Last but not least, my name is Clarence Brown, and I am the president of Free College University. Um, my background, I founded it. Yeah, Pre College University was something that was birthed out of me The earliest start was back in the 1990s, early 1996. And so just wanting to provide information and opportunity for those who may not have had it. Coming through the ranks when I was growing up, I was always being placed in opportunities and being placed around people that kind of gave me a leg up. And I wanted to actually create a haven where other people could benefit from the knowledge and skills that I had. And so um, creating pre-college university really has been a work in progress. Again, precursor started back in 1996. We've been on a long run, been doing great things, and so it's a passion of mine. It's a passion of mine, and our motto is providing for you what you should know before you go. And so, just want to make sure that we continue along that path of providing that information and insight to everybody.
Mm, that's awesome. And so we are the three people that you're going to be rocking with for these future episodes. Really just looking to share information and give our insight and our perspective from the things that we've learned, some bumps that we've had to grow through. And so just looking to do that, especially in a time like this that is so critical. And now we were having a conversation before of why this is such a perfect time, and why we really want to, impart knowledge and impart experience at this time. But can you guys tell us, either one of you can jump in, but do you think personally mentorship is so important in today's professional world?
Well, for me, I know that depending upon where you were born, where you came up at, who you were exposed to growing up, a lot of people I know I was probably in my 30s before I realized what a mentor was and the fact that I needed one. And that's way late in the game. It's way late in the game. And I know students are being exposed at least to the word mentor earlier now, but I'm still not sure that anybody really even explains to them what a mentor is or what a mentor should look like.
Mhm.
And so being able to not be a mentor for everybody, I do have a lot of mentees, but not try to be a mentor for everybody, but at least explaining to them what a mentor should look like, what should they look for in a mentor, explaining to them that they really do need a mentor. Or one of my mentors, he would call it a skid greaser, somebody that greases the skids for you. It's important. It's very
Mhm.
important. And so um, we're virtual mentors for you, you know, but want to be able to lead you in the right direction to find that mentor or mentors for life. So
Mhm. Well, my thought is on my corporate climb, long career, the first time I had what was called a coach, but it was really a mentor, was way late in my career, and it was like for the first time I was in an executive program, and we were doing some executive development, and so everybody had to have a coach, and that's one of my sayings. I tell people everybody needs a coach now that I understand what it's all about, and so the to have it late in my career and to be coached on how the game is played. I mentioned that before. That's so important. And, give me feedback on how I'm doing, that kind of thing. I thought, wow, man, if I had this years ago,
yes,
and I think I had a pretty successful career. I think I did some great things. But if I had that kind of coaching, man, what would life be like
right.
now? So that's what fuels the fire to say, how can I reach back and help the young kids coming going into college, in college, or coming out of college, and give them what I've learned, give them some of the skills I've learned, give them some of the coaching I received, and so because it just makes a difference. Everybody needs a coach, and so this is a great opportunity that I have, and I believe in it, and I'll stand by it. Mentorship is a powerful thing.
And even something about, kind of talking about why it's important today. I know for myself coming up, going through school and everything, we have this digital platform now. We have social media. We have all of these different forms of simulated connection. And it's such a great thing because it allows you to hear from other people and see experiences and see how, really where we have differences. A lot of times we have our similarities too, But one thing that I feel like it also has done is it kind of really cemented, um, at least in a digital sense, differences in generation, to the point where it becomes easy, at least as a younger person, to I'm connected with the people in my generation that I see on the internet. I'm building these communities with people that are my age, the people that have similar ways of thinking as me. And so it's almost easy when you're young, especially when you kind of starting to think that you know everything, that it's you have to it's still important to find mentors, and so it's really important not to just look around you, whereas building community with, those like-minded people that are around you is important, but also knowing that, hey, sometimes it's important to look ahead. Sometimes you just need to hear from somebody that's kind of been through some things so that, you don't have to get those same bumps that they got. And so definitely I feel like it's really important.
I want to add one more thing to that because as you all were talking, I was thinking about vulnerability,
Mm,
vulnerability, and being able to find somebody you can be vulnerable with,
yes.
because you want somebody that's going to tell you the truth. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny, especially when you're bright, when you're talented. Um, it's hard to find people that'll be honest with you
Hmm.
because they feel like, well, you're a star, you're on your way, and so, but we all need work. We all need
Hmm.
work, and being able to find somebody that you can be vulnerable with, that they can pull you by your coattail and say, yeah, you're great over here, but why
Hmm.
don't you look out for this Achilles heel or look out for that, and you being able to trust that they're not doing it to crush your spirit.
Right.
They're not a hater, as people say nowadays, but they're really there just to really try to help you, make you better. I think that's important, and so I think that's one of the things that a mentor does for you.
Hmm.
They actually they praise you. They see the good and praise it, but at the same time they keep it real with you, and they
Yep.
kind of kind of help you see the things that you don't want to see,
Hmm.
or that other people don't want to tell you that they see.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially I would say if you are someone that's really, you know, excelled, and maybe you have like these awards and these accolades, and you might have even built up your resume a little bit already. That word you use, vulnerability, to actually, not take it as a lashing to who you are as a person when somebody tries to give you ways to improve. Because sometimes, like, I'm used to everybody cheerleading for me. I'm used to everybody telling me, like, "Oh, you're so great."
Hmm.
And so when somebody comes in and says, "Well, I see you're great, but you might want to do this, or you do this differently, or look at this differently,"
Hmm.
sometimes it can be like, "Oh, my personality, who I know I am as a person, is being the person that everybody cheerleads."
Hmm.
And so you can even take a big blow to your ego from that.
Right,
But sometimes you have to, learning to be able to take advice, and even if it's chewing up the fish and spitting out the bones,
right.
taking what you need from what is given to you, it really takes a level of shedding your ego to grow in that way.
Yeah. It's almost like, a lot of time needs to be spent on preparing the mentee for the journey,
Right. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
for the experience.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, we had a similar situation not too long ago where we were talking to students, and they were receiving some good guidance, but they took it personally,
Right. Yeah.
or they took it personally. They thought we were coming down on them. No, we're
Yeah.
not coming down. We're just letting you know the whole picture
Right. The whole
and
picture.
how you look in it. And but after a while, I think it resonated with them that, okay, no, they're not coming down on me. I think that's the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give me your opinion, but that's a key. I think that's a key component on how we go about mentoring, is making sure that we set the stage where there's some level of comfort. Um, um, I think, Clarence, you mentioned something. I don't know where you got it from. Someone mentioned something about, the
Oh yeah.
connect,
Connect to correct.
respect. No,
No,
connect,
connect, respect to connect.
connect.
Then you correct.
Okay. Okay.
Connect,
And see, I was, connect,
connect.
because you're making a
Yeah,
connection,
connect.
you're building a safe space,
Uh-huh.
and then through that, you're gaining respect,
Uh-huh.
you learn how to exchange. But then now it's
Now
time
it's
to
time for
let's
correction.
get it right now.
That came from my mentor, as a matter of
Did
fact.
it?
Yeah,
It
it
came
came
from
from
your
my mentor. Yeah,
mentor.
it
That's
came from my
great.
mentor. Yeah,
And, see,
yeah,
and that stuck with me because
yeah.
that's true. Because you gotta try to.
Well, maybe it's respect to connect, then correct.
That's it.
Respect to connect, then correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you got to show a level of respect for people before you want to come down on them. So you show
Okay.
that level of respect, that mutual respect. Now
Okay.
you can connect, and
Okay.
then you get this opportunity to correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. I wasn't thinking about that, but
Yeah, yeah, because
oh,
that's a key. I was thinking that's a
keep
key
on it.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just I want to belabor the point, but you kind of mesh the word coach and mentor, and as Trey was talking, and I was thinking about this. Um, this is a little dated. I will say it's a little dated because Tiger Woods ain't on the mountain that he used to be on,
Uh huh.
but Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golfers. It's interesting that Tiger Woods would get to a point where his game was almost flawless,
Mm-hmm.
and he go back into the laboratory and tear his game up
Mm.
and start all over again. And people would always be like, "Man, why are you messing with your swing? You're
Mm-hmm.
beating everybody."
Mm-hmm.
And he always wanted to, I mean, get better at it and get better at it. And a lot of people don't have the drive to get better. They just want to make sure they're ahead of other people.
Mm-hmm.
When the
Uh,
real competition is yourself.
Mm.
And so mentors can help you get out of that, get out of that. I'm competing against somebody else and I'm ahead of them and
Mm-hmm.
say, I want to get the best out of you for you.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that idea of, even when you feel like you're close to perfect, okay, now how can I break this down and find the small intricacies, especially when you're, at a level where you're entering into, say a new opportunity or you're entering into a new job or you're entering into the workplaces in general. A lot of times those steps are coming after, say, you might have just finished school, you graduated, so you've built up this wealth of knowledge over your time there, or maybe you've been, going through, whether it's an internship, maybe you were doing, getting a certificate, building up, these things that are building up our capabilities in this field, but also could build up your ego in the fact that, oh, I've recently learned these things, I know these new tools, and so now, okay, I have to look at that. Okay, I feel like I built up, but how can I still go back and break that down and make it even better? That's something that I feel like it'd be easy to miss.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even just going on things that are easy to miss as you're making that transition, what are some misconceptions, I would say? What do you think are some things that are missed as young professionals are really starting to enter the work field or the workspace?
Well, I think. Well, I hear it sometimes. I don't know. I don't have any data to support this, but just it's this as minor as just knowing soft skills.
Mhm.
Knowing how to interact or knowing how to soft skills. I think tied in with. I don't want to get too heavy here, but just that whole piece of that emotional intelligence and but the soft skills. I've heard it where companies say, you know, we get somebody to come to work and they may be able to do a good job, a decent job. But as far as interacting with the people, as far as receiving constructive criticism, as far as those small little things, that's a piece that's missing. And then their attitude gets them in trouble, and they don't get along with their colleagues, and they're creating this turbulence in the workforce and in the workspace. And it's like, wow, can somebody just tell them just how to figure out how to get along with folks, So that's one area that I think is missed by students just entering into the workforce.
As I jump in, I'll put a plug out there and say, and that's what we do at PCU.
And that's what we do at PCU. That's exactly what we do at PCU. Yeah.
um, the thing I'll say is, and I know it's more prevalent now. It's not always been. I mean, it has always been. It's just more prevalent now. You hear people talking about participation trophies all the time.
Mhm.
Um, your opinion is yours.
Mm,
Your opinion is yours, and that's what one thing I think people don't understand enough. That your opinion is worth what I paid for it,
mm,
which is nothing.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? I know when I was in corporate America, the one thing I used to always tell my the people that reported to me was, until your name is on the door, you don't have a say so.
mm,
Right? Until your name's on the door, you don't have a say so. And it goes for me too. I mean, I may be a top level manager, but until my name's on the door, I don't have a say so either. And it's just understanding that businesses are in the business of making money.
mm,
Period. That's why they're in the business. And really, I mean, you should get enjoyment out of work, but also understanding that the reason why you're there is because they saw that you brought value to them making money,
Hmm.
right? They brought value to you brought value to them making money. And I'll even use I'm trying to couch this in the question of what do we see lacking, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm seeing that perspective is lacking.
Hmm.
That perspective. Just kind of understanding that, when you go on somebody's job, right? They're not paying you to be happy.
Right.
They're
Right.
paying you to make them money.
Hmm.
That's just the way it is. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try to be happy. You really should. I know what I used to do again when I was in corporate America. What I used to always when I have a new employee come in, I do my own orientation with them, and my orientation would be like this. I would say, "Hey, I need you to figure out what you can get off of this job for yourself,
Mm.
right? What can you get off this job for yourself? I need you to come up with a plan of action so that every day that you come in here,
Mm.
not only are you fulfilling your obligation to this company, you're fulfilling this obligation to yourself."
Mm.
And I would
That's
even
good.
go as far as to say to them, because if you look at a scenario where you feel like I'm your yeah, you I'm the greatest manager you ever had. And so you come in today and you do everything in your power because you just want to make me smile. You want an attaboy for me that
Hmm.
day. And I
Hmm.
had an argument with my wife before I came to work.
Hmm.
And I don't care what anybody says or do that day. I'm not going to be happy and I'm not going to give the attaboys.
Right.
And if you come in and this is the day you decided that you're going to give 100%, that you're going to give your all, and you look for that from me and I don't give it to you,
Mm.
you're crushed if you don't have your own personal goals,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So I don't want anybody ever to go into somebody's office, somebody's employment, first of all, looking for happiness from the people who manage you
Hmm.
or from that company because you're there because they see how you add to their bottom line. But it's your job to make sure that you strategically figure out your own goals that
That's
run
good.
simultaneous to the goals of the office so that every day that you go to work, not only are you working on theirs, but you're working on yours.
And I think that word simultaneous is really important in that there's a quote that you often say, but it's about what you can get to what you want by helping as many people. Can you give that quote?
Zig
Zig
Ziglar.
Ziglar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar, man. Zig Ziglar said you can get everything in life that you want if you could just help enough other folk get what they
That's
want.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yep.
so going into is like a lot of times I would say, even as a young person entering in, with you're fresh in, you have your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, this idea of the checklist to get to exactly where you want your life to be. And it's easy to get laser focusing on that and forget about the outside influence, and forget about the outside effect. But really, coming into that workplace, yes, I've checked this off my list. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the next thing on my list. But getting to the next thing on the list might take you, humbling yourself enough to figure out, how can I best help these people that are
Yes,
here? How
absolutely.
can I best take advantage of this opportunity that I have now and not just use it as, you know, a ladder rung to get to the next level, but it could actually springboard you into something even greater because you actually have the full investment in what you're doing right
Absolutely.
now.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really important, of helping, helping you to actually get to where you're trying to
Yeah.
go. And I do want to talk about uh, now, what do we as PCU, what are we looking to do to help, bridge that gap between students and achieving, their goals and this professional success that they're looking for? What are we looking to do as PCU? What are we looking to do with this podcast to help kind of answer those questions there?
Well, I first, we want to give unlimited access to allow the students to know, first and foremost, they have access to us, and we want to, and when we have those times for engagement, we want to provide them with the tools that they need, and it's just, and it's a holistic approach. It's not just, here's what you do on the job, but but as far as the emotional side, the mental side, we want to make sure that they um, know the importance of mental balance, social balance, awareness in the workforce, um, provide tools. We want to provide them tools with leadership, with management. We do a very intensive boot camp where we have students come out and they learn how to do projects. These are things that'll be on the job with their internships and for life. In some cases. Um, but we want to fill the void in every regard and to help them prepare for employment, help them prepare for a lifelong and a life-changing experience oh, you know, that they'll never forget. We get some feedback every now and then. We get some feedback from students who say, hey, you know what, this changed my life. I now have a job. I feel better about have a better outlook on life because of their experience with us. So being available to provide those tools that's one area that I can talk about.
I want to throw out there. I mean, as an organization, we say we prepare you for high school, for college, and for life,
Yes.
and that is our goal. Our goal is to actually walk alongside individuals through the whole process, as little or as much as they'd like. Um, they have unfettered access to us. We do the boot camps. We have an internship program. We do coaching. We do mock interviews,
Mhm.
resume reviews. We're actually even now launching our mastermind,
Mm.
and so having an opportunity to work with individuals who are highly ambitious and want to move to the next level. Fireside chats, and so just a plethora. Look that word up. A plethora of things that we put out there because again, it's. I'll tell you, it's my life's work. It's my life's work. It's what I've always been about. Trying to find an opportunity to help people. And I'm gonna move off of this bridging the gap thing by giving a quote that I had my mentor, the late great Gil Sanchez, said to me when he first took me on his arms when um I don't know if I can say it was my first step into corporate management, but it was certainly almost my last. Um, he told me, he says, Clarence, I've been a king.
Mm.
Now I'm a king maker.
Mm.
And so that's how I feel. I mean, it's not that my life is nowhere near over. My ambition is nowhere, my drive is nowhere near done. But it's not all about accolades for me any longer. It's not
Mhm.
all about attaboys. It's not all about building my bank account. It really is about pouring my heart and soul into PCU
Yeah.
and what we do,
Yeah.
and trying to give insight um, to people, students, young adults, career professionals,
Mhm.
on a continuous basis that will really help them to see who they can be
Yeah.
and then achieve what they want to achieve.
Mhm.
And as you said, Dave, we have a lot of success stories, and
Mhm.
and we get calls from time to time, emails, text messages from students that want to check in with us to see how we're doing.
Mhm.
Make sure that we're still, they want to make sure that we're still thriving because they realize how much they got out of it. And that
Mhm.
has nothing to do with me or has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with the mission of the
Yeah.
organization
Yeah.
and really the receptiveness,
Mhm.
going back to that mentoring piece, the receptiveness
Mhm.
of the people that come under our tutelage. And so if you're somebody who is seeking and want to get better, we're here to provide for you what you should know before you go
There you
because
go.
we've been through it. I mean, whether it's the 24 years in corporate management that Dave has, and or I've done some corporate management. I've been in higher education for probably the last 20 years.
Mhm.
If it's Trey and what Trey brings to bear, being a younger generation
Yeah.
that can relate more than maybe I can, and really keeping me on my toes as far as relating is concerned.
Mhm.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. Um, just even with that, I think that's a great kind of summary of what we're here for. And now, what can we expect from this podcast? Or what can listeners expect from this? Um, Future topics, future ideas, things we want to address. I know we have another one coming down the pipeline. We have Help Me Help You.
Help me help you. Yep,
Mhm.
We
yep.
definitely want to do something with that. Also looking to bring in, potentially some people that we have worked with in the past. You know, some of those people that might have been reaching back out to say this
Hmm.
impacted us. Some former interns, people to give insight, kind of give their perspective of what going through a process of doing things like being vulnerable, shedding that ego, and taking things to the next level. What that looked like.
I'd also say, I guess you're gonna let them know how to get in contact with us on our social media platforms, but also just if it's something that you all as a listening audience would like to hear or us talk about, let us know. We really do want to bring to bear those soft skills,
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
soft skills and coaching you through those soft skills, coaching you through those tough moments. And again, this year I think is going to be tough on everybody,
yeah, yeah.
and we want to be that shining voice, that kind of be relevant. Relevant is the word.
Hmm.
Be relevant to the times, not just pontificate or just talk to hear ourselves talk, but
Right.
really, for such a time as this,
Yeah.
really help drive home a message of hope, drive home a message of success,
Yes.
drive home a message of excellence. Um, I don't know where this came from, but it says, what does it say? Woo! Adversity breeds success. So what is the necessity is the mother of all invention. That's
Okay.
what I don't know what
Yeah.
is success and all that. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And
Hmm.
so making this an inventive year because we need some stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We need some stuff. And making it a year where we catapult forward
Yeah. Yeah.
because we need to.
Yeah. I mean, again, access. We're so much is going on in this world, and I don't even know how to react to it while I'm on the job. Could be the case, right? I
Right.
don't know what I'm supposed to think. That could be the case. Well, come on this show. Let's talk about it because I think it's not. I can't say that we're going to know all the answers, but we have skills on knowing how to have conversations, how to listen, and how to help you navigate. And that's key. Is sometimes you just need somebody to be at the wheel with you to
Mhm.
help you navigate through because you're going to have trials. You're going to have a lot of turbulence. How can we navigate through it? Come on the show. I'm hoping we get folks to come on and just so we can have conversations like that.
And I even want to add to that, even in the spirit of mentorship, right?
Uh-huh.
Because there's a such thing called reverse mentoring,
Okay.
right? And there's another term for it. But like, I mean, there's some people out there that could really come and add a voice that can even help some of the people we're trying to help.
Yes.
You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so I even welcome that. I mean, I even welcome that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to, even though we're the core of the team doing it, I'm looking forward to what I get out of it too.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. For sure.
Right. Learning all around, growing all around.
Yeah.
Definitely, we definitely have some ideas that we've been discussing, some things that we want to do with the podcast, some topics that we want to touch, but definitely, to our listeners out there, anyone listening, if you have a question that you want touched on, or you want to hear about experiences that we've had, uh, just to see how you can take that and help yourself on your journey, definitely feel free to send in questions, whether that's through the website. You can find us also on social media anywhere at Pre-College University. Definitely reach out. We want to make sure that we touch as many people as possible and kind of help to connect and touch on even that one topic that you might think only pertains to you, but it might help a bunch of other people too. So definitely looking to connect with people that way.
Mhm.
But that is going to be it for this episode, our first episode
First
of the
episode in the book. Yes,
podcast.
sir.
Yes, first episode in the books. After that. But yeah, thank you guys for being here on this journey.
All right.
Awesome, man.
And thank you for
Appreciate you.
everybody else tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you. We good? All right. We got to say cut or something. Cut.